What's up, guys? And welcome to my video. All this is just some background, gameplay with me using unique builds that I made myself and just making it work in multiplayer. I mean, there's nothing else to Shinobi Striker. But yeah. The thing is, though, is that there's so much meta in this game and so much pay to win stuff. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not even pay to win sometimes. Sometimes it's just like someone has something unfair, and then that's just what breaks the game. And there's usually nothing you can do about it, which is the annoying thing about it. I mean, sometimes, for most players, it feels annoying for them. Unless you're skilled enough to deal with it, then it's perfectly fine. But something like Boroshiki's weapon is stupid. It's literally a minigun that stuns you permanently like that, and you can't really counter it so much so unless you had a specific ninjutsu or you had a specific thing. That's the only way you're going to be able to counter it, which is ridiculous. And the fact that they haven't nerfed it or anything like that or buffed any other weapons is kind of a bit weird, you know? Like, you have so many broken weapons in this game. Why? Back then it used to be far more simple and far more managed. When it was managed and when it was actually being nerfed actively and actively being, buffed in some cases, it was good. But it all changed when, Shinobi Striker decided, oh yes, let's go ahead and pick favorites. Let's choose the claw weapon, for example. The claw weapon currently, right now, does still the highest amount of damage, builds 0 substitution, and is just still broken. It's still the most broken weapon that exists in the game, and I don't understand why it exists. It's very dumb. Because to what extent of a developer do you have to be to see your game slowly kind of breaking down and dying, and just say, yeah, it's completely fine. Because yes, it's constantly getting updates. Yes, people keep coming for that specifically, and yeah, there's new stuff. That's cool and all, but it's the equivalent of shaking keys in front of a baby. There isn't anything to the actual gameplay that is improved. For example, multi-shadow clone jutsu as a substitution is still broken. You get 2 stocks of substitutions. On top of that, you can also get Sharingan to get an extra substitution. You have a ninja tool which gives you an extra substitution as well. So that's what? 4 different substitutions in one. Especially if you include the substitution that becomes like a meteor thing that shoots out fireballs. But yeah, that's like 5 to 4 different substitutions, which is ridiculous. Because, or even 6. I don't even know how much that is. I keep forgetting. Just because of how often someone can get it, along with the ultimate, which is a substitution as well for attackers. So you're essentially getting just a shit ton of substitutions. And if you can keep substituting every single second, you're not going to be able to die. Which is another issue. Because, what's the point of playing the game? It's not really creativity much so in that sense, but it's more so meta. If I can keep escaping every single attack by doing absolutely nothing, which part of that becomes meta and which part of that becomes broken? I'm sure not everyone uses it, obviously, but it's really dumb. For example, what I'm doing here, right, is not necessarily as bad as, substituting and stuff like that. It does leave openings and such, but at least, like, as a range with this specific build, I can stun someone for a decently long enough time, but I have sacrifices that I need to make in order to get those. Obviously, uh, stun builds and builds that kind of prevent people from moving and such are kind of toxic to an extent, right? Especially if it's something you can't avoid. But technically, something like this right now on screen is extremely avoidable. There isn't any sort of real restriction here. The guy didn't have to attack me, and I'm kind of just surviving and running around in this game. Like, this game is literally just me tired of the game, using survival as the only way to get points in survival exercise, as per the name. And I can just win by eating ramen, by running around, doing nothing. Like, to that extent, is it broken or is it skill? That's where Shinobi Striker struggles. But honestly, it's a mix of both. And I think it's a good thing to have something that's broken. It allows a power fantasy. But if a power fantasy isn't controlled, then just as messy as a power fantasy is, you're not gonna have anything very clean. For example, if someone can instantly kill another person and the other person can do the same, there isn't much of a contest other than, oh, I landed it first or you landed it first. And then it's just over. It's the equivalent of fighting games, There's like Dragon Ball Fighter Z. If one person gets you in a combo and they keep their combo consistent, they just kill you instantly. Same with this game, to an extent. But it shouldn't be like that, because this is preventable. You have options, far more options, than you would in a regular fighting game. And, it depends on people's knowledge as well, How good are they at the game determines whether or not that combo is even possible. A lot of people playing this game, uh, they either look at one YouTube video, or they slowly get better over time, or they join some sort of a clan, or they just kind of get better on their own. For me, I've just, always been kind of by myself, so kind of just learned everything by myself, did everything by myself. But yeah, the occasional one or two YouTube videos just for understanding the hidden mechanics of the game. But other than that, that's kind of normal. It's not like I'm trying to be a combo pro where I can keep someone in an infinite loop and, destroy them whenever I want. That's just unskillful. I mean, not unskillful, but I'd say uncreative for a game that allows so much more creativity than it offers or shows. Like, there's a lot more options. The fact that you can use your own character, the fact that you can do so many different things is, the best part about Shinobi Striker. It's about creativity, but everyone else chooses not to be creative. And I think that's what really ruins the game. It just shows that people don't care about creativity or being original. Instead, they like to pretend to be original while copying something that, was already written by someone, that was already done by someone. So to what extent are you really, enjoying the game? And to what extent are you actually, having fun at the game? For example, for me, the reason I love this game is because of its creativity. I can do so many different things, so many different ways. And part of the fun is to kind of break the meta. So I don't get why there isn't as many people, trying to break the meta in a game that's full of meta, It's strange to me, because there is so many different combinations that I've seen, but almost all of them they use it in a way that isn't unique. They all use it in a way that is, how we've always seen it. Which is, strange to me. It's like the game has had, so many years to go past by, and yet everyone's sticking to the same thing. I mean, sure, there's only so many combinations you can do, but like that's the thing. A lot of people immediately categorize things in this game, like, oh, that ninja tool's broken, this weapon's broken, or this weapon's trash, etc. And especially the trash ones, right? Even the default tools, even the default ninja tools or weapons, they get categorized as being trash. Or some of the normal SS items are just trash. Which isn't technically true. They all have a purpose. It's just, you have to find it in which ninja tool it works in with best, or which ninjutsu it works with best. And that's the thing that I've discovered with this game. It's been really well designed and really well made, to the extent where, if you know what you're doing and how to play out, then you do have a fair chance of actually, surviving, winning, or doing whatever you want in order to get that kill in a different way. Like, for example, right now, using a slug and, shadow possession. Shadow possession is already quite a strong one, right? It's underrated or underused. The only requirement is that the person is on the ground, otherwise you miss it. And the slug is the more important part, because the slug can easily die. The slug is essentially the main thing which lowers defense. And, that's the main kill thing. That's the only two things that I have that would kill the person. However, even then, it's very avoidable. It's very simple. There's a lot of range characters, there's a lot of characters who aren't range characters who can still attack from a range. So a lot of these are usually just, more so a skill issue rather than, a meta issue or anything like that. So I'd say something creative where it's deserved to have its kill is fine. But if it's something that's not creative, that just kind of ends up being like what you're seeing on screen, where you're just spamming a single attack over and over again just because it can stun someone, is really dumb. Like that water sword right there. You've seen that guy just use it like 7 times on that one person just because it can stun, pull in, and then do the same thing 7 times in a row. It's really dumb. In comparison to what I'm doing, I'm kind of just throwing projectiles and just standing still. It's not so much so that, I'm actually trying to be toxic. It's more so that I'm just using my creativity. This one is literally just a challenge to my creativity. I'm seeing for how long can I stand still? How long can I, get away with essentially doing nothing and still doing damage without really interacting. And it's a really good build, because it's high damage, and sure, it's technically a bit of spam, but not really. Not to the extent where I'm actively throwing things at them and making it unfair. I am making it quite fair. I'm simply just standing still. I'm simply just throwing, a kunai at the precise times that are required, just like anyone else would. So, I think that's the main issue. Nobody plays it fair in this game. And I think that applies to all games, If, every single game has something, right? It has some sort of a gimmick, it has some sort of an issue. But I think that just in general, people forgot how to be fair. Or never were fair to begin with. And I think that's the issue, because if everyone was fair in a video game, you would see so much more creativity than you would, naturally right now. Because it's just the same old builds, same old things. And that's what ruins this game. And many others. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my random talking and random rambling. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. All I want to leave you with is be creative. Make some unique builds in Shinobi Striker. Experiment. Try different angles, different perspectives, just everything. Just try what the game offers you instead of just following the meta. Experiment, use your own creativity, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time, I guess. Maybe I'll make some videos on the builds that I just showed.